I occasionally experience waves of bliss over my body, like a full-body orgasm, and it gives me an erection. The heat doesn't go past my sacral chakra. Any thoughts or opinions on how I can progress? Yes, many thoughts. There's a number of things that you can do. One is, if you're experiencing external tingles all over your body and waves sort of through the subcutaneous layers of nerves, you can encourage that, of course, anytime that you're already experiencing this. But if the internal sensation is limited to the area of your sacral plexus, my recommendation is to gently, with slow, deep, relaxed breathing, if you can manage that while in these states of ecstasy, move your awareness, your internal sensory awareness, your kinesthetic awareness, touch awareness, inside your body, beyond the area where you're currently feeling those sensations in the sacral plexus while you're breathing. At the same time, open up emotions that are normally centered in other parts of the body and couple those emotions with the sensations that you're already feeling. If you're feeling orgasmic states, perhaps see if at the same time you can open up a very loving feeling or the feeling of laughter. Laughter is usually felt around the solar plexus. Love is usually felt in the chest. You can open up a feeling of spiritual wonderment or awe, like a little child seeing something truly amazing for the first time, and that will start to open up the activity in your pineal gland and your pituitary. So all of those things, even without any formal training, you can use the combination of moving your awareness spatially in the body with your breath, with even sort of waves of movement in your body, perhaps, to help change the flow of the hormones that are already moving through your bloodstream and to open even more nerve transmissions through the body. But at the same time, specifically use emotions that you know will also dilate the responses in other parts of your body. So that combination of things, especially leading your awareness through the central core of the body to the best of your ability. Not everybody has a lot of sensation in there until they start practicing and trying to feel the nerves inside their internal organs. But it's certainly something that will help you out. What you are experiencing is a Kundalini effect. Now the trick is getting Kundalini to actually move along the central channel or the central core of the body rather than just going through the peripheral nervous system. Quite a few people, especially people who are fairly sexual or fairly physical, and I don't mean physical in a sexual sense necessarily, just people who do a lot of physical exercise and are very deeply in tune with their bodies, as well as people who are very deeply sexual. Not sexual like sexual escapism. There's certainly plenty of sexual addicts who aren't really in their body when they're having sex. They're just using it to sort of escape, just like a drug. But there's also people who very much love sexuality, and they really dive into their body as they are experiencing sexuality. Those people tend to have a fairly easy time of opening the first stages of Kundalini, where it begins to open in the coccygeal and sacral regions of the body. And they begin to have expanded feelings, perhaps, of, if the coccygeal region opens, they start to feel a more grounded sensation, more connected to solidity and to the mass of their own body. If it's the sacral region that starts to open first, they may feel very ungrounded and completely scattered and ADD and just completely wrapped up in whatever the latest physical sensation is. And if that's you, you may want to investigate physically grounding your body more outside of your sexuality to give yourself a little bit more balance so that you're not all over the place and constantly chasing after the latest little external sensation. Eventually, you can actually open these things up internally. Now, on the other side of things, you have practitioners who historically open Kundalini entirely through spiritual devotion, through religious devotion. They created such a feeling of spiritual bliss and love for some aspect of the divine. Very frequently they were meditating on an icon or an image. This is true of Catholic saints, it's true of Protestant saints, it's true of Hindu, Buddhist, Shinto, shaman all sorts of practitioners may have focused on some external or internal revelation of the divine with such incredible focus and love and awe and wonderment that some of the upper centers in their body started to actually cause changes in the lower endocrine glands. So they started to get an almost sexual intoxication from their spiritual devotion. And things may have opened in the opposite direction. In many cases, those people may have felt extremely ungrounded because of all the activity going on in their upper body, their heart, their head, etc. And they may or may not have been as physically grounded if they didn't have to do physical labor on a daily basis as part of life. If they had the luxury of just praying and staring at an icon all day, or staring at a candle flame, or closing their eyes and visualizing some aspect of the divine or some spiritual teacher or prophet, etc. They may have had some of the opposite sensations. Again, you can achieve balance in this and use all of these responses within the body to balance out the physiological and emotional and spiritual ramifications of Kundalini.